So you heard Chairman of ECOWAS, President Akufo-Addo there, and one thing that caught my attention so far has to do with the fact that he says that the destiny now lies in the hands of the Malians on as to how some solution will be brought to this matter. What have you to say about this?
Well, in essence, what that means is they have failed to reach an agreement. And unfortunately, start to know that ECOWAS is looking like a toothless bulldog, because already they were given out an ultimatum to form a civilian administration today.
Okay.
But, you know, it didn't materialize. Yeah. So now they've asked them to, all right, go consult. Who do they have to consult? They knew about this summit. All of those supposed to be consulted should have been part of the summit. So what are we talking about? So I can sense some sense of feet dragging and lack of commitment on the part of the military junta to hand over to a civilian authority. Already there's sanctions imposed on the country, and it's having rippling effects on them. And I think more sanctions would have to perhaps be resorted to, and possibly targeted sanctions that will be aimed at individuals, because usually the sanctions, it affects the civilians more than the administration. But going forward, I think we would have to take a closer look at targeting individuals.
Would you say that the sanctions are deterring enough?
Yes, because it will send the right signals. Because if we allow this to happen without any intervention, we might have other countries also resorting to the same means, and that would throw the whole West African subcontinent off gear, and we wouldn't want that to happen. So a clear signal would have to be sent. In the past, clear signals were sent. When ECOMOG intervened in Liberia, they intervened in Sierra Leone. When Yahya Jammeh lost, he considered defeat. The next minute he says he's not going. ECOMOG threatened that they're going to come in and kick him out. What happened? He left. So I think there's the need for some consistency to serve as a deterrent to others who might just want to throw into the bin the will of the people.
I see. So Mali actually depends on Guinea to ship in and ship out most of their goods because they are landlocked.
Exactly.
Now, considering the border closures and then the impositions that have been placed on them, how do you see this impacting their socio-economic development as a country?
Obviously, it would bring untold hardship to the Malian people who are already suffering from the economic situation in the country. But my fear is in the midst of all this, you know, these terrorist groups would establish stronger footholds and would take advantage of the melee to, you know, conduct their terrorist training and perhaps stage more audacious and brazen terrorist attacks in the future. So I am personally very concerned because I have particularly followed the Malian issue for some time now. And if we are not able to bring peace to Mali, trust me, it would have rippling security threats to the whole region.
I see. How would you describe the posture of the opposition political parties in Mali?
Well, their posture is very consistent with that of ECOWAS and even that of France. What they are asking for is a one-year transition. However, a civilian should lead the transition. But the military is being extremely intransigent, because they're saying that rather they would rule for 2 years, even though now they've brought it back to 18 months. And it's a military officer who should lead the transition. At the point they said, okay, fine. If you don't want a military officer to lead, we can put together a body which would select or elect who to rule. So if you have the military appointing a body to select, obviously, invariably, I mean, we would have them electing a military person to rule. So these are the two major sticking points. However, it goes without saying that the involvement of the different opposition political parties is extremely key. And I must also say that former President Boubacar Keïta has supporters in Mali. Today I spoke with a friend of mine in Mali, and he confirmed that indeed the man has a lot of followers. So it is important that going forward they involve everybody in the political process rather than it look like some group of people are sidelined. I think it doesn't engender sustainable peace.
Okay, so President of Ivory Coast, Alassane Ouattara, is actually going for a third term, and it's raised a number of concerns and some complaints. Now, in the face of this, how do you juxtapose that and with his presence at today's meeting?
Well, it's quite ironic, I must say, because leaders using constitutional maneuvers you know, to get themselves entrenched in power is something that is not new in Africa. Okay. What is happening in Ivory Coast is disturbing because we all witnessed what happened after the 2010 elections that culminated into a civil war. So far, his biggest rival, Julem Soro, who is the former leader of the New Forces, has been barred from contesting in the election, and an arrest warrant has been issued against him. Former President Laurent Gbagbo has also been barred based on a simple provision that says if you've ever been if you are an ex-convict, you are in no position to contest for the presidency. And we also know full well that Julem Soro at the point was sentenced to 20-year prison term for what they claim to be embezzlement, which he refuted as being politically motivated. The only potent rival or challenge to President Alassane Ouattara is Konan Bedie. He is the former Prime Minister of Ivory Coast under then President Laurent Gbagbo. And we are hoping things don't degenerate into chaos. However, it is an area worth really looking into.
Definitely, would have to find time and then discuss that. But thanks so much for your time on Newsnight. Unfortunately, that's all time would allow us. But thanks so much. Well, we have been engaging Saani Adib. He's a security and an international relations expert.